Hello, my loves. Today we're going to do a spring goddess spread, tarot spread. So I've done an autumn tarot spread for my friends in the Southern Hemisphere, but this is for my friends in the Northern Hemisphere, which are obviously in spring. Most of my readers are probably from the Northern Hemisphere. If you're watching though, tell me where you're from. I actually asked my readers where they were from and I got like hundreds of replies, and it was just so cool where people are reading from, like in really remote parts of the world and in Northern Europe and Canada and the States, and it was just very cool. It was very cool. So tell me where you're from. If you like these videos, subscribe, click the bell. And then you'll get notified when there's new videos. So I always say my favourite seasons in order are autumn, summer, winter, and then spring. I can't stand spring in Melbourne. It's the wettest season, but it's really like erratic. So it's like it can still be really, really cold in October, but then it'll have like a really hot day. So it's like you're peeling layers on and you're putting layers on, and you can't get your summer wardrobe out totally, but you can't put your winter wardrobe away totally. Anyway, tell me your seasons in order. I find it very interesting. You know, some people love winter. Winter's definitely bumped up the list. It would have been last for me, but as I've gotten older, and I think as I've started to celebrate and honour the seasons, I really appreciate winter. You know, for me, winter is really a time for like quiet time, going in, being cozy, saving money. That's how I really view winter. Anyway, let's get into this spring goddess spread. So spring, things are greening. There's a new energy. There's new. Everything's new. You know, the flowers are starting to come out. It's usually a time of mating and birthing for animals. Seeds are cracking. We're breaking ground. What has been unseen for months, you know, through the winter is now being seen. You know, I have this tree outside at our house, and it's like, it's so incredible. She's so seasonal. So it's like, you know, some trees don't change, and she's like really green and lush in the summer. And then the autumn, she starts to go orange and all her leaves drop off. In the winter, she's totally bare. And then in the spring, for like 2 weeks, she's pink blossoms. It's so incredible. So the unseen is now seen. You know, you'd think everything just looks dead. That's what's so remarkable about winter, you know. And sometimes I'm saying this to some of my friends, you know, when they're like, I don't feel like doing anything, and I'm just low energy or whatever, which I feel like constantly. But I'm like, you're in the winter of your cycle, you know. So like in winter, it looks like nothing is happening on the top of the surface, but there's so much happening underground. You know, there's so much happening in the earth. It's like everything's just going into seed and like, I don't know, and then it bursts through, you know. That's spring. So desires coming through, creating, you know, this is spring, you know. So the spread, I'm kind of looking at the flower psyche. So in autumn, we're looking at the witch self, you know. The autumn is the witch, it's the witch season. So, you know, what's your witch self need? What's she asking for? But in the spring, it's like we're looking at your flower psyche, you know. Your flower psyche, she's going to be more gentle, more focused on beauty, like unfurling, you know. She's gentle, she's uber feminine. We're going to look at your sacral. So in the summer, we look at your throat. You know, it's a time for, you know, it's your solar plexus. You know, it's yellow, it's confidence. What's your voice saying? But for the spring, it's sacral, you know. Sacral is your creativity, it's your sexuality. It's, you know, it's so spring. We're going to look at like what's unseen that we're now seeing. What are we creating? Our desires. What have we learnt through the quiet? You know, what are we bringing through from the winter? You know, in autumn, it's like, what are we bringing through from the summer, you know? And then maybe some seeds cracking, you know, what's there under the surface that's coming out. Anyway, spring goddess spread. Let's go. Let's go. Ooh, okay, our flower psyche. King of Swords. King of Swords is very much governed by right and wrong. He's got a keen mind, a good sense of equality and justice. You know, flowers are so beautiful, but I feel like they're quite, you know, there's flowers that are beautiful, and that's how they capture their prey, and then roses grow thorns. It's like this real balance of like pretty but also don't get too close. You know, maybe that's what your flower psyche is. This is right for me and this is wrong for me. You know, it's looking maybe for some decisiveness of what is good for you and what's not good for you. Your sacral chakra, 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands is dynamic. It's a dynamic card. It's quick action. It's swift. It's events in motion. In terms of your sacral, that it is ready to birth some things, that something is already in motion, or this is the time to put things in motion. What's unseen that we can now see? The King of Wands. So the King of Wands is an incredible visionary. It's funny, unseen, now seen. He can see what other people can't see. You know, I always see the King and Queen of Wands as being really bold and very proud to be themselves and all their kind of authenticity. That's what comes to me with Queen of Wands and Kings of Wands. Authenticity, power. So maybe it's like you're the thing that's unseen that now needs to be seen. It's you. You too can be a visionary, just like nature. Mirror nature. You know, maybe that's what was unseen and now seen. That it's like, hey, we can go into quiet times and then we can come out and see things that we never thought we could see. What are we creating? 8 of Swords. So 8 of Swords is a heavier card. It's usually a spiral of negative thinking. The 8 of Swords is kind of like a prison of dark thoughts, but that is of your own making. It's a cage of your own making. In terms of creating though, in the card, she's actually cutting herself free, but maybe you're creating a way out of that pattern. Maybe you're creating a new path that allows you to get out of your head and into reality. Your desires. 3 of Swords. It's heavy, they're heavy cards. 3 of Swords is very much about heartbreak and grief. You know, it's quite interesting coming from the winter, you know, even on my Substack of all my friends from the Northern Hemisphere, it's like, you know, there's really been a lot of talk about winter and how heavy it is and, you know, what's just happening in the world. But there's like a desire for something beautiful to come from that heartbreak, from a broken heart, from something that you're pulling away from the winter. But there's desire there for beauty. What did we learn in the quiet? What did we learn in the winter? Very fitting, High Priestess. High Priestess. I've said this a few times every time she comes out, but she can be seen in some tarot circles as the highest card of the major arcana cards. She's very powerful, the High Priestess. She's 2, so she's always that kind of denoting that choice between, you know, the spiritual realm and the earthly realm, but she has her energy in both. She's deeply, deeply intuitive. She's deeply, deeply powerful. And it's a deep call for an understanding of your subconscious, your dream world. You know, she's sitting in a dark wood. There's all the tree trunks wrapping around. So there is a darkness to the card, but maybe that's what we learned in the quiet. That's what we learned in the winter, that there is wisdom and truth and beauty in going into that dark space of the subconscious. You know, it's all kind of mirroring as well, the winter but going into that dark space, we learn that there is great lessons. And the seed that's cracking is 5 of Swords. The 5 of Swords is interesting. It can be kind of betrayal, humiliation, defeat, but it can also be victory and like good kind of sportsmanship. In the card, they're like drawing lines in the sand, and it's like they're you know, their faces. It's like they're at a game. They're in a game. Maybe the seed is viewing life more as a game and making up your own rules. You know, when you play the game, also you're going to lose. And you're going to be humiliated. And that's the way it goes, right? But like just playing the game is what it's all about, right? We don't bow out of the game because it can get rough. Maybe the seed that's cracking is saying, hey, get back in the game, you know, get back in the race and maybe play by your own rules. It's a heavy spread. lots of swords, lots of swords, actually, all swords, and then just 2 wands and a high priestess card. So, you know, we're coming out. You guys are coming out after winter. There's some food for thought. Anyway, that is my spring goddess spread. I will see you next time, and I send you all my love.